Child abuse is physical, sexual, and/or psychological maltreatment or neglect of a child or children, especially by a parent or a caregiver. Child abuse may include any act or failure to act by a parent or a caregiver that results in actual or potential harm to a child, and can occur in a child's home, in organizations, in schools, or communities that the child interacts with. Different jurisdictions have developed their own stance towards mandatory reporting, different definitions of what constitutes child abuse for the purposes of removing children from their families or for prosecuting. I feel there is a problem in the system when child abuse is being reported. I'm going to go over a case that has been bothering me for over a year in regards to this exact subject. A child that was eventually murdered at the hands of his father while his mother looked the other way in Southern California. After reports and reports and reports by schools, by relatives, and others that this abuse was occurring. Even interviews with the child himself and his sister. Rest in peace, Noah McIntosh. May your memory be eternal. And I hope that my voice and others will continue to speak up for you and for children in the same circumstances before it's too late, like it was for you, Noah. I hope Noah's story has a voice and that change is being made or will be made or has been made. I'm Kathryn. Please like, please subscribe, please ring the bell for notifications. Welcome to Left Undone. And this case is heartbreaking. It involves the death of Noah McIntosh.
Friends held out hope that 8-year-old Noah McIntosh would be found alive.
Been found.
But tonight,
Corona police detectives walking out with boxes full of stuff. A plumber was also seen outside the apartment home. Police began their search sometime before 11 p.m. and it went out for hours through the night. Right now, it is unknown what detectives were looking for.
Also developing, the father of a missing Corona boy just appeared in a Riverside courtroom. Bryce McIntosh pleaded not guilty to murder and torture charges. He's accused of killing his 8-year-old son Noah and then trying to conceal the evidence using acid. Noah's mother, Jillian Godfrey, is charged with child endangerment. Noah's body has not been found.
Noah McIntosh was born on March 31st, 2010, to parents Bryce McIntosh and Jillian Godfrey. When he was born, it was discovered that he had a birth defect. This birth defect caused his bladder to be on the outside of his body, and this was surgically corrected. However, it did leave some residual effects where it was difficult for him to control his bladder. Since his birth, he lived in Anaheim, California, with his maternal grandparents, Douglas and Maggie Godfrey. And he lived there with his older sister as well. He lived with them up until about a year and a half before he went missing. His mom, Jillian, had decided that she wanted them to live with their father, Bryce. So the children were taken from the maternal grandparents and given to Bryce, who lived in Corona, California, which is very close to Anaheim, only miles away from Anaheim. Noah and his sister moved out of the grandparents' house They went to live at Encanto Apartments at 4637 Temescal Canyon Road. Bryce's apartment was unit 201. At the time, Bryce, the dad, worked for American Medical Transport as an EMT. The children went to live with Bryce, and their mother, Jillian, was living in her car in that apartment complex parking lot. And she would visit the kids every Tuesday. People described Noah as a happy child. He would walk his dog through the complex. He would wave to people, good morning. He was very friendly and just seemed to have a sparkling little 9-year-old boy personality. He was a third grade student at a school called Todd Academy in the Norco Corona School District. In his father's apartment, it has been found that he and his sister did experience regular abuse. More than his sister, Noah would experience the brunt of his father's abuse. Bryce would get upset with Noah, thinking he's being lazy by not making it to the bathroom, having accidents. But this was because of his condition of his birth defect with his bladder. But Bryce had no tolerance for this and was pretty nasty and abusive to little Noah. In fact, he would severely punish Noah when he had accidents. The exact date of Noah's disappearance isn't exactly known, but it does seem to fit in the timeline of being approximately the first week of March in 2019. Most agencies do say March 6th seems to be the date. In March of 2019, Noah's sister, she's about 10 or 11 years old, she was staying with her grandparents. Her grandfather, Stephen McIntosh, took her back to her dad's house and dropped her off on March 10th, 2019. Now, when Stephen, the grandfather, dropped Noah off, Bryce told Stephen that Noah was missing. Bryce refused to go to the police. He would not file a missing persons report. Stephen thought, okay, that's weird. This is unusual. This is not okay. This is weird. Dad is saying that the kid is missing, and he's going, no, I'm not going to the police. He thought it was really unusual. He recalled he had a phone call with Bryce, his son, on March 5th. And Bryce had said that he and Noah were both suffering from food poisoning that day. And around the same time, Bryce's sister tried to reach him because Bryce missed a family event. So the family was trying to reach out to him. But he didn't answer, and he didn't return his sister's calls. So after the sister was kind of going, what is going on? She contacted Jillian, who's Noah's mom, and said, you need to contact the Riverside County Police Department, Sheriff's Department, and have them go do a welfare check because something's up. Jillian contacted DPSS, the Riverside County Department of Social Services, and she did request that welfare check. She informed him that she had not seen her son since she dropped him off at Bryce's apartment on March 4th. And that Bryce had informed her on March 8th that Noah was missing, but he would handle it. So the police officers were dispatched to Bryce's apartment to check on Noah, and they weren't able to contact Bryce in person. No one came to the door. So they decided they would return the next day. At 8 a.m. on March 13th, the Corona Police Department Special Response Team came back to Bryce's house. They brought with them the SWAT team. They believed that Bryce might be in possession of weapons and unknown mindset. Like he may just be lost his mind. He may be crazy. He may be angry. He may be violent. That resulted in a standoff. Bryce finally exited with his daughter. So he was in the apartment, there was a standoff, and he had his daughter with him. And no Noah. So with the search warrant on March 13th, investigators seized his electronic devices, his cell phone, computers, and they found handcuffs, zip ties, purple latex gloves, stained yellow towels, and they located the owner's manual for a Ninja blender. but they couldn't locate the appliance anywhere. After they received the devices, the FBI conducted a thorough analysis of Bryce's online search history, and they found he had searched for what exactly is sulfuric acid, what does sulfuric acid do to aluminum, what kind of plastic can stand muriatic acid, can you buy sulfuric acid, and clean shot drain opener, sulfuric acid MSDS. Now, his cell phone showed searches as well for normal heart rate for an 8-year-old when they are running, normal heart rate for an 8-year-old, how exactly sodium hydroxide works, and sodium hydroxide and water. The same day, Jillian and Bryce were arrested that day, and they were later charged by the district attorney with willful child cruelty. And they both pled not guilty. After all that, they went ahead and arrested both Bryce and Jillian, the mother and father, and they charged them with willful child cruelty. And they both pled not guilty. And they took them to the Robertson Presley Detention Center. And neither of them had ever been arrested before. While in custody, Jillian did speak with investigators, and she changed her initial story. She shared that she lied about the last time she had seen Noah and said she actually saw him on March 2nd, 2019. From March 1 through 3, she had been staying with Bryce at his apartment. On March 2nd, Bryce had taken Noah into the bathroom, where Jillian recalled hearing her son ask why his father was hurting him. To her recollection, she never saw Noah leave the bathroom. She left the apartment on March 3rd, never saw her kid at this point again, right? He was in the bathroom yesterday and never came out, and Jillian's on her way. Bye-bye, Jillian. Have a great day. Go living in your car. And she's hearing the kid in there saying, "Why are you hurting me, Dad?" And she does nothing. The reason I'm doing this particular case is to raise more awareness. I've lost a lot of faith in the CPS system, and I think that these cases are more prevalent and out there more than we would know. And this case did not make national news. It was local. It was not national. And that's a shame. So Bryce had told Jillian at some point in there that he needed to go to Home Depot, and she reported this to the officials. Reporting that would cause law enforcement to actually go to Home Depot and review their surveillance footage there. Jillian's phone was also taken in as evidence, and it was discovered that she kept notes regarding Noah's abuse. Some of the documented examples include him being placed in hot water, him being placed in cold water for approximately 2.5 hours, him being placed in a bathtub filled with cold water for over 6 hours, and him being left in the bathroom with his feet tied up. In the beginning of the investigation, they weren't sure if Jillian and Bryce had ever been married or if they were married, but they had never been married. It was later found. On March 14th, 2019, the DPSS reported Noah had been missing for more than a week, and that his parents had been arrested for child abuse-related charges. They also stated that the household had been deemed unsafe. His sister, who was only about a year older than Noah, was taken to Child Protective Services. So that's where she was, and they talked to her there. And so they talked to the little girl, and she said, yeah, my dad did tell me that Noah has been missing. And she also shared that Noah's abuse often involved the use of the bathtub. cold water, the use of the bathtub, cold water, and handcuffs. And that she once helped Bryce hold Noah's legs down. The police questioned relatives, and they hadn't seen him since the beginning of March. And they couldn't provide any information regarding his current location or whereabouts. They said they'd last seen him around the apartment complex. Local police teamed up with county, state, and federal law enforcement in their search for Noah. There were citizens, volunteers. They wished to get involved in the search. They were placing blue ribbons all over the town.
In Corona tonight, a vigil for a missing 8-year-old Noah McIntosh. Both of his parents have been charged with child cruelty.
KCAL9's Jeff Nguyen is live now in Corona with the latest on this troubling story. Jeff?
Juan and Sarah, when you walk through Corona, you will notice these blue ribbons, and they are here for a couple of reasons. But the main one is this little boy with the blue eyes and that infectious smile that has captured the hearts of an entire community. Tonight, hundreds took part in a candlelight vigil at Spyglass Park in Corona for Noah McIntosh, who's been missing for weeks. His suspicious disappearance has been heartbreaking for neighbor Brooklyn Swope.
Noah brought joy to me every time I saw him.
Noah was last seen at the Encanto Apartments in Corona. Both of his parents have been arrested on child abuse charges after his mother called police because she hadn't seen her son in 2 weeks. Deputies executed a search warrant where he lived with his father, Bryce McIntosh, but multiple searches have been unsuccessful. The case has touched the hearts of people who didn't even know the 8-year-old. A Facebook page was created to blanket Corona with blue ribbons as a symbol to raise awareness for child abuse. Turns out it is also Noah's favorite color.
Started as 12 friends that kind of wanted to just hang ribbons, and within an hour it turned into 800. Within 12 hours it became 1,600, and like in 24 hours we were at 4,000.
The Corona Police Department is sparing no resource.
The Corona police chief says Noah's case has deeply affected his investigators, who've been working to find him.
Lord Jesus, we come before you.
Kelly Ball says she doesn't even know Noah, but she organized the vigil for the little boy with the bright smile because she has 3 sons of her own.
Because if it was one of my boys, I don't know what I would be doing right now. So it really just touched me that way.
He was so happy. He wanted everyone to be happy, and now it's just he's gone.
Noah's grandparents, who have been vocal in his case, were not at tonight's vigil. However, Kelly Ball says that she did get their permission to organize it. In the meantime, Noah's parents are being held during this ongoing search. For now, we're live in Corona. Jeff Nguyen, KCAL9 News.
They were told to hold off on actually searching for Noah for the time being. Investigators searched Lee Lake and the surrounding hills near the 15 freeway, as well as the city of Marietta, Tom's Farms. Those are all located near the apartment. I've been to Tom's Farms. I've been to Marietta. I'm from Southern California, so this area is very familiar to me. So basically, it is kind of inland from Orange County, very inland from Orange County, south of LA, but inland. And it is more deserty, hot area. It's on the way to the desert. They didn't share why they searched Lee Lake, but for some reason they were interested in that lake. So as they reviewed and looked at evidence and security cameras and electronic devices and everything that they were looking at, they were able to confirm Bryce had purchased numerous items of interest in the days surrounding Noah's disappearance. They noted he purchased long gloves, 24-inch bolt cutters, muriatic acid, 128-ounce bottle of drain cleaner from a nearby Home Depot, a 32-gallon Brute trash can, and a 32-ounce bottle of sulfuric acid drain opener at Lowe's, and 2 bottles of drain opener from Target. On March 4th, 2019, data from Bryce's cell phone shows he made a trip to Squaw Mountain Road in Temescal Valley around 9:27 p.m. before heading to Target. A day later, his cell phone pinged on Wilson Valley Road in Aguana, a remote and unincorporated area about 50 miles east of his apartment. Between 9:29 and 9:50, his phone pinged in that area. The resulting pings led investigators to search Aguana on March 16th, where, with the help of their canine unit, they discovered a trash can matching the one that Bryce had purchased. And it had traces of human blood in it. It had homework with Noah M written on it, numerous purple latex gloves, single blue long cuffed glove, parts of a Ninja blender, blankets, numerous blankets, yellow towels, and a plastic bag with human blood residue, as well as empty drain cleaner bottles. When Squaw Mountain Road was searched, they found more items of interest: a purple latex glove, yellow towels, used cleaning wipes, and part of a wooden spoon. When police searched Bryce's car, they found a purple latex glove, which matched the ones they found both at Aguana and Squaw Mountain Road site. On March 18th, investigators were also at the apartment, Bryce's apartment. They had the FBI with them. They had a plumber with them as well, and a forensics team. The plumber brought with him camera equipment, and it said he went in and removed P-traps from the plumbing, from the bathroom sink, and the kitchen sink. When he analyzed the P-traps, he found that the ones removed from the bathtubs appeared cleaner than the others, considering the age of the apartment. Along with searching drains, investigators also looked through the unit's garage and were observed removing several boxes. They wouldn't give any indication of the items removed. Observers noted they were wrapped in blue tarps, and they also appeared to be large and heavy.
Investigation into the missing 8-year-old boy from Corona has led officers back to the boy's home.
Investigators were seen searching the home for hours. CBS 2's Leslie Marin is live in Corona on Temescal Canyon Road near Dos Lagos with the new developments. Leslie.
Good morning, Crystal and Suzanne. Well, it's been 3 weeks since anyone has seen or heard from 8-year-old Noah McIntosh, who was last seen here at the Acanto apartment homes where he lived right near Dos Lagos in Corona. With no new information on his whereabouts, last night investigators brought their search back to the boy's home. Now let's go ahead and take video. As you can see, Corona police detectives walking out with boxes full of stuff. A plumber was also seen outside the apartment home. Police began their search sometime before 11 p.m. and it went out for hours through the night. Right now, it is unknown what detectives were looking for. But I want to get to a photo of the 8-year-old Noah, who attended Todd Academy School here in Corona. His parents, Jillian, Godfrey, and Bryce McIntosh, have been arrested on charges of willfully harming a child. They were in court last Friday, where their arraignment was pushed back until next month. But the search for Noah started after police say Noah's mother, Jillian, requested a welfare check on the boy last Monday. SWAT ended up serving a search warrant, and after a standoff with officers, Noah's father, Bryce, surrendered along with the couple's 11-year-old daughter. She is now in CPS custody, but there is still no sign of Noah anywhere. Now, a lot of people in the community have been asking why no search parties have been started for the little boy. Well, Corona police released this statement over the weekend, saying in part, the police department has partnered with county, state, and federal law enforcement agencies in the search. If and when community assistance is needed for a search, that request will be made. Now, back out here live, we are expecting to hear more information from Corona PD later today. They are expected to talk about their investigation overnight. Of course, if you have any information on Noah's whereabouts, you are asked to call Corona police. That's the latest from Corona.
On March 20th, there was a report written that noted that the type of discipline that Bryce was administering in his home was excessive. The abuse risk level in that home was high for the child abuse. This report, they don't know why it was written or who wrote it. It was unclear, and it was written weeks after Noah disappeared. Bryce was charged with first-degree murder with special circumstances of torture, which could lead him to a sentence of life in prison without parole or the death penalty. And the investigators basically said, you know, we don't have a body, but this leaves no doubt that this child was murdered based on the evidence we've found. But they accused Bryce of trying to conceal evidence through the use of acid, and other products. They believe his black BMW, a 330i, was a key element in the murder. And thus, they asked anyone who may have seen it between March 4th and 5th, 2019, to let them know. They asked residents of the entire area, Corona, Temescal Valley, Marietta, to call if they recalled seeing either Bryce or Jillian or Noah between February 20th, 2019 and March 12th, 2019. So with this charge, the case moved from a missing child to a murder.
For weeks, family and friends held out hope that 8-year-old Noah McIntosh would be found alive. But tonight, prosecutors have charged the missing Corona boy's father with first-degree murder. There's also an additional special circumstance charge that could make Bryce McIntosh eligible for a death sentence. KCAL 9's Nicole Comstock is live. Nicole?
Yeah, that's right. New details released in this case tonight are so disturbing that a lot of people out here in Corona, where Noah lived with his father, say it was simply too much for them to think about today. What those details do tell them is what a resilient little boy Noah really was. These are some of the last photos ever taken of 8-year-old Noah McIntosh. He was smiling, happy.
Have to put on this smiley face and say, hey, you know, nothing's wrong, everything's okay.
But now community members in Corona believe Noah was putting on a brave smile, in spite of the physical abuse court documents say his father inflicted on him.
And it really wasn't okay.
A declaration in support of an arrest warrant for Bryce McIntosh now reveals the abuse involved Noah being in the bathtub, cold water, and Noah being handcuffed. And that Noah's mother, Jillian, said she last saw Noah on Saturday, March 2nd, when Bryce took Noah into a bathroom. While Noah was in the bathroom, she heard Noah ask Bryce, why was he hurting him?
You're telling me that this guy did this to his own son? Why?
Those documents say Noah's mother, Jillian Godfrey, left the Encanto apartments that day when Bryce said he had to go to Home Depot. That investigators later found security video of Bryce making purchases there. They also traced his cell phone to an unincorporated area of Riverside County, where they found a trash can, a paper with Noah M written on it, numerous purple latex gloves, and a plastic bag with residue consistent with blood.
Keep honoring Noah, keep your support.
Joel Domingo Sabas started a fundraiser in Noah's name at Cinnaholic in Corona. He says it's more important for people to remember Noah McIntosh as he was in life. A smart, charismatic kid who didn't let anything get him down.
I'm going to remember him as a good kid. He had a good heart, and he brought a community together. That's
Well, this Sunday would have been Noah's 9th birthday, and a lot of people out here in Corona want to do something special to commemorate that and celebrate his life. So we'll certainly keep you updated on what transpires with that. For now, reporting live in Corona, Nicole Comstock, KCAL 9 News.
With this charge, the case moved from a missing child to a no-body murder case. In April of 2019, Bryce pled not guilty. He pled not guilty to both murder and child abuse charges. That same day, the DPSS received, so the Department of Social Services out there in Riverside received notification that they needed to complete a child fatality report regarding Noah because his father is being charged with murder. So kid's gone. That's what they're saying. Towards the end of March, the residents of Riverside County held a candlelight vigil for Noah. They hung blue ribbons all over the town. All over the county, and this symbolized awareness for child abuse. The vigil was held at Spyglass Park, which is with local community members, and city officials were all there. The investigation continued to progress, and Noah's maternal grandfather spoke with the media, told them that a year before his grandson was missing, he had contacted Child Protective Services himself, fearing that Noah was being abused by Bryce. Something that was later confirmed to Douglas by Noah himself. He feels Bryce is responsible for the murder and had been concerned in the past about his terrible temper, as he is known to be a violent man. If given the chance, he shares that he and his wife would have taken back Noah in a heartbeat. Again, just like the Lori Vallow case, they would have taken JJ. Juvenile court made the rare decision to release Noah's DPSS record upon coming to the conclusion he was most likely deceased. This meant that juvenile confidential laws didn't matter at that point. There was no confidentiality laws once they have decided that the child is dead. Now, the attorney that was representing Noah and his sister did oppose this, because saying that there was no proof that the boy was dead. And it did show a history of abuse that dated back to 2013. It's a long time. And nothing was done. According to the record, the DPSS began receiving reports that Noah was being abused in Orange County in 2013. At that time, his body showed numerous bruises, including an adult-sized handprint on his buttocks and a black eye. At the time, Noah is also said to have told social workers that Bryce spanked him in the stomach. Both Bryce and Jillian were investigated twice regarding these claims, but the cases were closed on October of 2013. This child's life could have been saved. They deemed the reports unfounded. Yeah, black eye, bruise on the butt, and a kid saying that he was spanked in the stomach is unfounded? It's horrible. In redacted Riverside County reports, a social worker made passing reference to the 2013 abuse, saying Noah's black eye was the result of Bryce having thrown a wallet at his face. This was listed in the background checks of the first 2017 report, but it's not clear when or how the social worker received this information. This is going to get you guys. It is noted that records further state that since August of 2017, 2 years before this child disappeared, 2 years before this child disappeared, August 2017, social workers had received at least 10 reports that Bryce was abusing Noah and his sister. and that Jillian was failing to protect her children. The first report noted that Noah had told a police officer and the responding social worker that Bryce had zip-tied his wrists and ankles, blindfolded him, and dunked him into freezing cold water because he'd soiled his pants on accident. He also shared that he'd been handcuffed to the bathtub and forced to sit in cold water for hours at a time. And he recounted one incident where Bryce force-fed him laxatives and made him sit in his feces all day before making him clean it up himself. According to the report, Bryce admitted to this, but said he only did so in order to teach Noah how to properly use the toilet. So between August 17th and 24th of 2017, the reported person's name was redacted from this report. They called the Children's Services hotline again, and they were transferred to the social worker's voicemail. That social worker was the one that first checked on Noah initially with the initial abuse charges. It is believed that this person was Douglas Godfrey, so maternal grandfather. On August 24th, a social worker and a police officer from the Corona Police Department attempted to make an in-contact visit to Bryce regarding this claim. But he refused to speak to them and told them he was unavailable. According to the report about the interaction, Bryce even denied being Noah's biological father and admitted to severely punishing the boy for his bathroom issues. On August 25th, 2017, an officer with the Corona Police Department returned to the apartment again to conduct a safety inspection, but was forced to leave after Bryce refused to open the door. Okay. 3 days later, the social worker completed a safety assessment where it was noted that the caregiver caused serious physical harm to the child, but that Noah was safe. The case would officially be closed on September 6th, 2017, only a couple weeks after the report was started. A day after the initial responding officer contacted the social worker to say the criminal investigation had been dropped. Failed this child so badly. On November of the same year, 2017, another report of child abuse was called in after Bryce forced his son to attend school in just a diaper. A diaper, a shirt, and shoes. He did it in an attempt to humiliate him for his toilet issues. When contacted by the school, Bryce said there were clothes in Noah's backpack, which included female pink shorts and a zip-up hoodie with butterflies on it. So I put girls' clothes in Noah's backpack after he sent him to school with a diaper, shoe, and just shoes and a diaper on. Now remember, Noah was in 3rd grade. So these items, the kids were teasing him after they put these clothes on him. And the school principal actually went to Target and got Noah some new clothes. When asked why he sent Noah to school dressed in such a way, Bryce cited the toileting issues and shared that he felt his son was being lazy and that he no longer had a medical condition. So the social worker investigated the report. They said, okay, Jillian is not protecting her child, and this family needs to seek counseling, parenting classes, or some other form of support to get their issues straightened out. They also wrote that Bryce was punishing Noah in a way that was punitive and humiliating and opening up the child to ridicule. November of that year saw numerous other claims being reported, including calls on the 21st, the 22nd, the 28th of the month. Once again, law enforcement officials and social workers attempted to make contact with Noah's parents, but were unsuccessful. As a result, Riverside County closed the investigation to the family on December 17th, 2017, citing the reason as the parents refused to cooperate. There's some bad problems in this country with child's rights. This is bad. Look at JJ and Tylee, and this is bad. People do not have to protect their own children, and they can just say, oh, I'm not cooperating, like Lori, when she just refused to reveal her children after she had murdered them or helped murder them or knew they were murdered. And this. In February of 2018, Noah once again spoke with a social worker at school who said to have also spoke with Bryce, if only briefly, after a report was called in regarding his and his sister's sleeping arrangements. An attempt was also made to contact Jillian in order to try to offer her housing, as she was living in her car at the time, but to no avail. On February 15th, the social worker reported that the household contained no children likely to be in immediate danger of serious harm. And no further claims were called in. At the end of 18 months, starting in August 2017 and ending in March of 2019, all but 2 of the reports were closed, with the reason stated as unfounded or inconclusive, while some were left open with no final determination provided. The 2 allegations not closed were said to be substantiated in March of 2019, just a week before Noah is said to have disappeared. But since investigating, social workers couldn't substantiate the allegations of abuse in person. So Noah was unable to be removed from the home. Why can't they take the kid out of the home while they're investigating? Why can't they go give it to the grandparents? The grandparents would have protected that child. Why do they have to leave it while they're investigating? Why do they have to leave him with the people suspected of abusing them? In October of 2019, a civil attorney by the name of Robert Booth filed a claim against Riverside County on behalf of Noah and his sister, alleging the county's Department of Public Social Services dropped the ball. I'd say they did more than drop the ball. They caused a murder. When they failed to take action in response to the numerous complaints regarding the abuse of the pair faced. The claim said that the social workers, 5 staff members from Children's Services Division, had violated their duty to protect the 2 from abuse, and that their civil rights had been violated as a result. As such, he was seeking an undisclosed amount of money in connection to Noah's disappearance and presumed death. The claim took 6 months to prepare and served as a notice to Riverside County that the suit would follow, and gave the county an opportunity to settle or reject the claim altogether. The claim highlighted the mishandling of the child abuse and neglect cases at the hands of DPSS, and showed that Noah's case was simply one of many high-profile cases handled by the department. On December 19, 2019, Jillian pled guilty to 2 counts of child endangerment while in attendance at a pretrial hearing at the Riverside County Superior Court. The judge ordered the plea form sealed, meaning the terms of the agreement that Jillian made with the prosecutor in exchange for her admission of guilt could not be made public. Her sentencing was to be on April 3rd, 2020. And I will go over all of the most current information, the court information and everything that's happened in part 2 of this, because I will go back and give you all of what's happened from then until now. Bryce is still in jail, and I know his next hearing is at the end of this month, July 2020. He's awaiting trial And it keeps getting continued. And obviously COVID had a lot to do with that, I would imagine, because this was supposed to start in March of 2020. Noah's body has yet to be found, but foul play is suspected in his disappearance due to the circumstances involved. It's unclear when he was killed, but investigators believe it occurred between March 3rd and March 4th of 2019. Possible motive has been determined but has not been revealed due to the active nature of the investigation, and police continue to look into the case. Noah's grandparents did hold a memorial for him out of state for those within the family. They shared that there will be no closure until his body's found. From March to April 2019, a local business called Cinnaholic sold the Noah cinnamon roll, which saw 10% of proceeds donated to the Joyful Hearts Foundation for Child Abuse Awareness. The case contact information: Noah Thomas McIntosh was last seen in Corona, California during the early days of March 2019. He was 8 years old, and what he was last seen wearing is currently unknown. At the time of his disappearance, he was 4 foot 5 inches tall and weighed approximately 55 pounds. He has strawberry blonde hair and blue eyes. Currently, his case is classified as a no-body homicide. If alive, he would be 9 years old. Actually, now at this point, he'd be 10. He would have turned 10 in March. Those with information regarding the case, please contact the Corona Police Department at either 951-736-2330 or 951-279-3659. An official police tip line has also been set up at 951-817-5837. So this case, to me, this case is big, and it has not gotten national attention. There's a lot of CPS stories that I've heard, Child Protective Services, DPSS, whatever they're called, wherever you are, that this goes on. Obviously, we're finding this out. So I will continue to update on this case as they go to trial. I'll update you on the whereabouts and what happened with Jillian. I believe she is no longer in custody, and Bryce is in custody in Riverside County, California. Thank you for watching Left Undone, Incomplete Investigations. I'm Kathryn. Please like, please subscribe, please ring the bell for notifications. We go live every Saturday morning at 10:30 a.m. Pacific time. We'll see you there, and I'll see you soon. Stay well. Bye-bye.